Coercive control in ancient Rome was a systemic and legally entrenched reality, exercised primarily through the institutions of Patria potestas father's power and manus husband's authority. This control extended far beyond physical violence to encompass psychological, economic, and social domination. 1. Legal foundations of coercive control. Patria potestas. The paterfamilias held lifelong legal authority over all descendants, unless emancipated. This included power over life and death use, vita necisc, though by the imperial era its use was restricted. Control over property, anything acquired by family members belonged to him. Marriage arrangements could force children to marry or divorce. Manus marriage. In early Rome, a wife passed from her father's power to her husband's, becoming legally like a daughter. By the late Republic, free marriage without manus became common, but social expectations of obedience remained. 2. Forms of coercive control. A. Over wives, social and sexual surveillance. Adultery by wives was punishable by death or divorce. Husbands faced no equivalent penalty. Economic dependence. Dowries were controlled by husbands. Reclaiming them after divorce was difficult. Mobility and social isolation. Elite women were expected to remain within the domestic sphere. Leaving home without accompaniment could spark gossip. Threat of violence, even if not always exercised. The husband's legal right to punish physically loomed as a constant threat. Be over children. Forced marriage or divorce. Children, especially daughters, were pawns in political or economic alliances. Disinheritance ex heredatio, a powerful threat to ensure obedience. Exposure of infants. Newborns could be abandoned if unwanted due to gender, disability, or poverty. Educational control. Fathers decided if children were educated and in what. C. Over slaves and dependents. Total domination, including sexual exploitation, corporal punishment, and control over movement, relationships, and livelihood. 3. Social and cultural reinforcement, moral censorship, censura, community gossip, and shaming enforced conformity. Exempla, historical tales praised women like Lucretia, who killed herself after rape to preserve family honor, or Cornelia, mother of the Gracchi, idealized for silent virtue. Religious rituals, household cults, Lares Pinieties, were controlled by the paterfamilias, reinforcing his role as mediator with the gods. For limits and resistances, despite the rigid system, coercive control had boundaries. Social norms of moderation, excessive cruelty could damage a man's reputation infamia. Intervention by relatives. A woman's male kin might intervene if abuse threatened her life or their family's honor. Economic leverage. Wealthy women with independent resources had more autonomy. Divorce. By the late Republic, divorce initiated by women became more feasible. For example, Cicero's wife Terentia controlled her own funds and divorced him. Philosophical criticism. Stoics like Seneca argued for kinder treatment of wives and slaves. 5. Evolution over time. Early Republic. Coercive control was nearly absolute. Late Republic. Empire. Gradual legal erosion of Patria. Augustan laws first c. BCE penalized unmarried, childless adults but also granted some rights to mothers of 3 children. Hadrian and later emperors restricted killing of family members. Christian era, 4th CE+. Emphasis on marital reciprocity, though male headship remained, and infanticide was criminalized. 6. Contrast with modern coercive control. While modern coercive control is criminalized as a form of abuse, in Rome it was largely legal and socially endorsed. Resistance was framed not as asserting individual rights, but as navigating family honor, economic interests, or moral expectations. Conclusion: coercive control by Roman husbands and fathers was an institutionalized system of domination woven into law, religion, and culture. It guaranteed male authority but was also contested through social norms, economic means, and gradual legal reform. Understanding this history reveals how power operated in the private sphere, and how even the most rigid hierarchies could be negotiated.